Hello, welcome to the first ever episode of In Development on the Insider Network. I'm joined today by Tommy.
Hello.
And James.
Hello.
And I'm hosting. It's me, Stephen. How are you all doing today? So, for our first ever episode, the concept behind this is we take a form of media, like a film, a video game, a book, or any kind of media, and then we discuss, as in a role of a producer, how we would pitch the next film in a franchise, or the first film, or a continuation.
Yeah.
So, for our first form of media is video game, and it's going to be Pokémon. As you know, next month is this month actually, is it?
This month?
Yeah,
this
next
month?
week.
When this episode is out,
Yeah.
the film will be out?
I
think
don't know the release
so.
schedule of our podcasts.
This film might be out.
It might be out. Anyway, it's Detective Pikachu. So we're each going to pitch an idea of how to continue on this franchise. So have you got your ideas ready?
Yeah.
You good to go?
Yeah.
I'm good to go. James, let's start with you.
So mine, Pokemon. It's a film, and it's gonna be.
It's a film.
It's a film.
That's a good start.
Okay, right, my turn.
So mine's gonna follow the anime to start with. It's gonna be we're gonna get Ash. We're gonna get all those sorts of characters following that sort of storyline. So the director I'm gonna have is Travis Knight.
Oh, okay.
Who did Bumblebee, and I thought that he managed to bring back that 80s sort of nostalgia and bring back the love for that, and I think that sort of thing I think that sort of thing would work really well with Pokemon, and the sort of similar sort of tone that they're going to be going for in this one. It's not an R-rated Pokemon that we're going for. So my cast-wise, Ash is going to be played by Tom Holland.
Oh, okay.
I think it's a little obviously I had Dylan O'Brien for a while. I don't know if that's either of yours. He's actually going to be playing my Gary, so Ash's rival.
He was only on my mind because I watched that.
Yeah,
Brian
that's partly why he was on my mind. But I chose Tom Holland. I think he's obviously proven that he can be a lead and carry a franchise already with Spider-Man, and I think
he's shown those sorts of Ash sensibilities.
Yeah, and I think he really brings that youth fun sort of side to it that I think Ash sort of had, and I think there's a lot of similarities there. So I've also cast his mum, which is going to be Rose Byrne.
Okay, I like Rose Byrne.
Yeah. She's not going to have a big role, but
no,
she's Rose Byrne.
She is.
My Misty is going to be Chloe Grace Moretz.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Again, it's a similar sort of age as Tom Holland. I think they could probably. I reckon they will bounce well off each other.
Yeah.
And I can see them having good chemistry. And I think because Chloe Moretz has a little bit more
What's she
acting
been up to lately?
experience. She was in. I watched The Miseducation of Cameron Post.
Oh, yeah.
And that was really good. And Greta.
Yeah, Greta.
Right.
Both of those I really liked, and I thought she was really good in them. And I think because Ash is obviously the newcomer to this sort of Pokemon world, and I think because Misty's been around it a little bit more longer, and I think that kind of will come across in their acting. Tom Holland as someone who's relatively new compared to Chloe Grace Moretz, who's been doing it since she was very young.
Okay.
So my Brock, I've got Charles Melton, who's from Riverdale.
I do watch the show. What character
He
is
is the one that was
is he the boxer?
No, the one who was with Veronica, who he used to be.
Reggie.
He's Reggie in Riverdale.
The old one or the new Reggie?
What do you mean old?
Because he was replaced Reggie.
The recast.
Oh, the recast one.
The recast one.
The recast one.
All right, yeah.
Yeah. But I think the old one would work as well, actually. I did consider him.
Yeah.
So then I had Dylan O'Brien as Gary. My Jesse and James. So I've got Brie Larson as my Jesse.
Ooh, I can see that, yeah.
I don't know. I struggled with Jesse and James. I don't know. I think she brings the sort of funner sort of. I think she could do like a really not serious Jessie well.
Yeah, especially her kind of Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought of.
Envy Adams.
Yeah, and then as my James, I've got Ezra Miller. Which I don't know. I did have Michael Cera for a while.
Really?
Which I thought about, and then I don't know. I just couldn't picture it. Whereas again, going back to a similar sort of thing with Jessie, I think Ezra Miller.
I thought about him for my Ash if he was a little younger.
Well, Michael Cera.
Yeah.
As my Meowth, I've got Josh Gad.
Oh, you changed. I thought you were going for DeVito.
No, no, not DeVito. I think Josh Gad would be perfect for it. I think his voice would lend so well to Meowth,
Yeah.
and I think that would work well with Brie Larson and Ezra Miller.
I like Josh Gad a lot. He's very funny.
I think he could really do it, and I don't know, as seeing him as more of a villainous sort of character rather than
like
snowman.
an evil Olaf, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, and my last one, casting wise, I've got is Professor Oak, played by Patrick Wilson.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's all my casting. So story wise, it's just gonna follow Ash from the beginning. It's gonna start with those, or he didn't get to choose his star Pokemon. He gets handed Pikachu, and just follow him going through gyms, and then I don't really know.
Yeah.
But that's just my basic
the
pitch.
whole anime, yeah. Every season.
But we'll it'll start off like just following how that goes, and then we're gonna have sequels.
Would it be set in the same kind of universe as Detective Pikachu, or is it
Yes, same Well, or I imagine because of the way Detective Pikachu is, I imagine this was in a way, I guess, be a prequel.
different? Okay.
Just because the Pokemon in Detective Pikachu are very much part of that world, whereas I feel they are to an extent in the anime, but not quite as much.
I think to sort of segue over to my pitch, I think mine actually would be a sequel to that universe, because I'm doing the same sort of thing. I'm doing like they call it the Indigo League, like retroactively that season. Yeah. So I think I'm doing that as well, but I think it would be a sequel. I think for me the difference would be like it's what the small towns are like as opposed to like the big cities.
That's fair enough.
And,
fair enough.
So my cast for Ash, I've got Julian Dennison, who you may know from Hunt for the Wilder People and Deadpool 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he's perfect. He's young. He's got that kind of like, inspiring like look to the I want to do this, I want to be this, but he's not quite there yet, restricted by his age and stuff like that. I think he'd be really fun, in that role. Misty, I've got Natalie Emmanuel, who from Game of Thrones, Missandei, and the Fast and Furious films.
Yep.
Steve, you wouldn't get that.
Yes.
I kind of like having a bit of an age difference between them. I like Ash as being very much the younger one of the group. With Brock being Channing Tatum, who we've seen having like great like comic chops, kind of being like the big strong guy, maybe not quite as sharp. Like I love it when he has that role, and his stuff in the Jump Street films, even the Lego Movie, like the small cameos, like he's showing some real comic sensibilities, which I think would be great for this, because I want to be a bit lighthearted.
Yeah,
Detective Pikachu looks lighthearted and fun. Ryan Reynolds is voicing Pikachu, for God's sake. My Jessie, I thought an actual Jessie, Jessica Chastain.
Right.
Who's traditionally a little bit serious. I like the idea of having the villains almost as the straight guys, to play off of in the sort of comedic stuff. And, these kids are kind of just on their little adventures going around trying to, get their gym badges and whatnot. And they're a bit more sinister, the Team Rocket in this, I think. They're more trying to disrupt and, have like an overarching sort of plot of evil against the Pokemon, which will perhaps play out in a couple of films. James will be played by Val Kilmer. Right?
I can dig that.
Right? The little more funnier of the two. And then Meowth, as you sort of mentioned earlier, for me would be Danny DeVito, who's just the best, and he's got such a unique voice, and I think he could like evoke kind of the feeling that you want when you like see Meowth, because like you kind of love him, you kind of hate him. He's kind of that annoying sidekick, but he's also kind of like the voice of reason at times. And I think Danny DeVito would really bring a fun dimension to that. And then finally, just for fun, like my Professor Oak would be Denzel Washington, just because I love the idea of him giving some like serious exposition and then like kind of being a little bit bumbly and then kind of setting them on their way. I think that'd be quite fun.
That'd be cool.
My director I'd like is Taika Waititi, just to rather than the big sort of grand scale of Thor Ragnarok, though it's helpful that he can do that, more the smaller fun of like Hunt for the Wilder People. I think that's kind of the template I wanted for this, that fun little adventure off in the world, and then just the original sort of 151 Pokemon, and really just kind of have fun exploring it. That's my pitch.
It's your pitch. I'm all pitched now. Okay, it's my turn. So mine, I've slightly aged up my characters.
Steve's written a 100-page treatment.
I've scaled it down for the sake of this podcast. Basically, my idea is to have kind of an Ash, Misty, and Brock kind of like trio, but aged up into the future. So like the Ash kind of type would be played by Jake Johnson, and this is a kind of like kind of in the same vein as Peter Parker from Spider-Verse. He's like a washed-up Ash. So he went to all the gyms and that, but he could never win. And he never became like the championship of like, the leagues and that. Whereas the female kind of type will be played by Emma Stone, and she's like the complete opposite to like Jake Johnson's character. So she's like really, really, really successful. And then like the Brock would be played by Donald Glover.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. Originally I had Winston Duke.
Oh, I like that as well.
Yeah,
I went for Donald Glover because he's slightly younger, and he's like basically like a gym leader. And then for my Oak, I had Gary Oldman.
Oh, that's good. I'd
That's
cast
solid.
Gary Oldman in anything. To be fair, he could play Misty in mine.
I haven't casted like a Jessie or a Jane yet, but I had.
Did you say Jane?
No.
I think you
I
did.
thought you was a fan, Steve.
I'm a true fan of Pokemons.
Apparently not.
Oh.
Pokemon.
And then I had like the head of like Team Rocket, which is called Giovanni, and I had Michael Shannon.
Oh, I like that. I love Michael Shannon, to be fair. So
Yeah.
I was gonna be behind that.
Yeah. So basically, I had it all aged up, and then so these three, trainers were kind of taught under Professor Oak, and basically he's gone missing. So these three have to meet up again and solve what's happened to him.
Oh,
And
that's
then
cool.
meanwhile, as well,
Yeah.
we've had like three legendary Pokemon, which is Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres, which is like the bird
You're
ones.
just speaking in a foreign language.
Yeah.
So basically, these three superpower Pokemon can cause the end of the world. So it's kind of like a race against time
Okay.
in a way, and they're also
So
searching.
is yours in the Detective Pikachu universe?
Yeah, same kind of
It is.
universe. So we're sort of like we're like modern cities in that, but it'll be a bit more kind of like worldwide.
Mm.
And for like directors, I had either Taika Waititi,
Did you?
yeah, and Jon Favreau as well.
John Favreau is my other choice as well.
Yeah,
Wavelength.
I know. Right?
He's just a busy man. I don't know if he'd have time.
He's got time.
He's got time,
Nah.
plenty of time. So
I had John Favreau was my director until I got Dennison in there, and I was like, oh, get them back together.
classic.
Get old Julie and Julian and Taika back.
So this
Yeah.
is like the first film in like the NCU, which is like the Nintendo universe.
Nintendo Universe. That's
Hell
a different
yeah.
podcast.
Can't wait for that.
Oh.
Mario. Link.
Jeez.
So we're all kind of on the same wavelength of
Yeah.
like we think the next Pokemon film should probably include those characters that got us.
I think it makes
got into it in
sense.
the
I think
first
it's a bold choice going with Detective Pikachu first. But then at the same time, it just puts you in that universe that's already used.
It
and I
almost
think
feels safe though, doesn't it? Because then there's no real attachment that you can mess up.
I'm just surprised that they went for that kind of game first, because you had like the original like anime and the manga, you had like Pokemon Ranger, Mystery Dungeon, you had so many different kind of types of Pokemon game, but then they went for like the newest one. It's just like strange to me, but it seems to be doing well from early reviews.
Yeah, I mean, as written by Nicole Perlman as well, who
Yeah.
was originally the one who brought Guardians of the Galaxy to our attention.
would she write your script?
I haven't seen Detective Pikachu yet. I'll let you know.
We'll find out. in
No,
the review.
Taika would write mine.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, so as a brief compromise, Steve,
Okay.
since you've got the same director,
Yeah.
we'll do like an It thing.
Okay.
Like, so we'll do like the child years with my film, and then we'll do the older one with yours. Although it'd be a bit weird when Professor Oak starts off as Denzel Washington and then becomes Gary Oldman.
It's funny. It's just Pokemon.
I like Denzel. I think that's
You
a
like
really good
Denzel?
shout. Yeah.
What do you think of that, Ash?
Ash, I get what you're going for. I just don't know. I wonder whether you'd bring him in for a little bit more comedy
Yeah,
than
100%.
what.
Ryan
that-
Reynolds, like they're going to be funny films.
Yeah, but I don't know. I want it played a little bit more straight. Which is
where like the serious stuff of like Jesse and James and Team Rocket,
But-
that's going to be less for jokes. Whereas in the anime, I think they're a little bit more
That's fair. I
silly and like pantomime.
see
where
what
it'd
you
be a
mean,
little bit
but
more sinister in that.
I've gone for Tom Holland because he can do those comedic moments as well, but he can also do those serious moments. Whereas I don't see.
To me, he's just too much of a hero archetype. Like in his like build and physique and stuff, he's just like kind of your general like, typical protagonist. Whereas I think Ash kind of needs to be more of the everyman and like the unexpecting hero. That's why I kind of went that sort of side route rather than like, let's get this strapping young lad to save the day. That's where I came at it.
I think that's where Hollywood are going anyway. Potentially,
We'll see.
yeah,
We'll find
maybe, or maybe they'll listen. Maybe is it Warner Brothers will listen to this?
I think they will. Because we're on YouTube now.
They should
We're
do.
on everywhere.
They listened to me with the DC thing, I think.
Anyway, so we are on Spotify, we're on YouTube, we're on iTunes, we're pretty much everywhere. So could you leave a rate and review? It really helps us. That'd be fantastic. And you can catch me on Twitter at TVPooPoo. James.
That's never going to get old.
What about you on Twitter? Where can we find you?
Floodgate28.
Tommy, where can we find you?
I'm at Mr. TT Green.
Fantastic.
Oh, and Insider on Facebook. Where's it, James? It's Insider Network.
On Facebook, yeah.
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 Insider Network. Just look for that.
We're everywhere.
You search for that pretty much anyway, you'll probably find us. Oh, you can find all of our podcasts and stuff. If you don't really have any of the network things, look at our website at podcast.insidernetwork.co.uk.
What a plug. And on that note, I think
We
we're all
forget
done.
that one. We neglected the site. Sorry, website.
Sorry, website.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Oh, yes, me next time.
Cool.
Oh, every time.
Every time. Done.
Oh, that.